In this video, I'm going to talk about how Tidal is trying to ruin my videos by announcing new pricing structures just after I make a video about the old pricing structure and what I don't like about it. And in doing so, I will share with you in this video 6 of my favorite hi-fi demo tracks.
This episode is brought to you by T+A, makers of the Solitaire P headphones. Click the link in the show notes for more information.
So I just got back to Berlin a few days ago, and among the many packages that arrived whilst I was away was this television's marquee moon. This is the new Rhino 180 gram pressing, I think cut from the original analog tapes. It's a stone cold new wave classic from 1977, and as mind-bending as the title track is, I think it's too long to be used as a hi-fi demo cut. The song Friction, however, is a better fit because it's shorter and it's punchier, and it's a great way to open a new playlist in Tidal ready for my next hardware review. Now, Marquee Moon does exist in high-res audio on Tidal, but as I explained in my recent video, I don't really want to pay an extra €9 in Germany per month for the privilege of accessing Tidal's Hi-Fi Plus tier that contains that high-res audio content. And that's because that Hi-Fi Plus tier gives us around 8% of all songs in high-res. And 8% for me is not enough to pay almost double. Instead, I pay €10.99 a month, I think it is, for the Hi-Fi tier that caps all streams at CD quality, including Marquee Moon. But then last week, Tidal unexpectedly announced some forthcoming changes to its pricing structure. And it's pretty much good news for every existing Tidal subscriber. Before we get to that, let's add another song to my demo music playlist. So Prince's 5 Women is a track that I picked up from a more adventurous demo at Munich High End a few years ago. It's a supremely lush sounding song that's high on jazz funk polish, and I think it deserves a much wider audience. However, it matters not one jot to me that 5 Women isn't available in high res, because its high production values still shine through in CD quality. So Tidal's big news, one that essentially undoes my recent video, is that from early next month, it will no longer charge extra for high-res audio. The change will come into effect, I think, on the 10th of April. And that means that when I play the next song in my hi-fi demo playlist, which is Tom Waits' Jesus Gonna Be Here, a high-res version will be made available to me at no extra charge. Now, Jesus Gonna Be Here is from what I think is Tom Waits' most adventurous and probably best album. That's 1992's Bone Machine. And side note here, yes, the 2023 remaster sounds unbelievably even better than the original, but only as long as you stream it. The vinyl, I'm not so sure about. So how is Tidal making this change? Well, essentially it's collapsing its high-res streams and its Sony 360 reality audio content into the current hi-fi tier, which, as you know, goes for €11 a month in Germany, and I think €749 in Portugal. Now, that change won't affect Atom TM's Pop HD, nor will it affect Summer Painter by Bill Callahan. And these are the next 2 songs that I dropped into my hi-fi demo playlist, and they both top out in CD quality. Now, the Callahan track is a heady brew of baritone vocal, woodwind and subtle percussion that over its 6-minute runtime builds to, a fairly impactful emotional climax. But the Atom TM track couldn't be more different. Imagine a new Kraftwerk song delivered in French, but with the higher production values that Kraftwerk now demonstrate in their live shows. And I swear, if you don't already know this Atom TM cut, it'll be one of the best pieces of electronic music you'll hear all year. Back to Tidal, instead of a 2-tier system going for €11 a month and €20 a month, the Norwegians will offer a single tier at €11 a month that includes high-res audio and Dolby Atmos content. And Americans can expect to pay $11 a month and Brits £11 £12 a month. So that means that anyone currently on the more expensive Hi-Fi Plus tier will enjoy a price cut, and anyone on the Hi-Fi tier like me will see high-res content added at no extra cost. And because I'm back in Germany now, I thought that the next song landing on my Hi-Fi demo playlist should be something German. Now, something that communicates the feeling of a long German winter is Rammstein's, I think it's called Heirate mich, and that's from the Lost Highway soundtrack. And Heirate mich means marry me. But I warn you, if you're the kind of audiophile who lives on a diet of Niels Lofgren and Dinah Krall, you might find Rammstein's, you might find it a difficult pill to swallow. But as I've said before many times on this channel, especially in the comments, I'm talking to people here who dig the same kind of music that I dig, and not the kind of hi-fi show music that we've heard a gazillion times before. Not that there's anything wrong with it, it's just that its repetition has, for me, worn down its magic completely. I mean, I love Steely Dan's Gaucho, but every man has his limit as to how many times he can hear Babylon Sisters. So we've got Television, Tom Waits, Prince, Rammstein, Atom TM, and Bill Callahan in a single playlist. So let's add some El Perro del Mar to sweeten the mix. The track God Knows You've Got to Give to Get, I think, audiophiles might call this female vocal. I call it sublime. But I haven't been using Tidal Connect to listen to this playlist. I've been using Roon, and Roon is the main sponsor of this video. I've been using Roon since it was first announced, I think way back in 2015. And Roon integrates Tidal so that the library of songs that you have sitting on a hard drive and Tidal's library become and appear in Roon as one mega library. And even more helpful is a recent update to the Roon app that puts recently added Tidal playlists into the left-hand menu for easier access. So it'll be a cinch for me to pull up this playlist when reviewing the Cambridge Audio CXN100 network streamer in a couple of weeks. So I'll put a link to this Tidal playlist in the description box below, but if you want an Apple Music version or a Cobas version or a Spotify version, you'll need to head on over to my Patreon. But what's interesting about Tidal's forthcoming pricing update is that it brings Tidal more into line with Apple Music. So for €11 a month, we will get roughly 100 million songs to stream in CD quality, plus around 8 million songs in high-res audio. Now, what remains to be seen is if Tidal will stream the highest resolution available according to whatever we set in the settings, as Apple Music does. And again, this change doesn't come into effect until April the 10th. But if you thought this video was entertaining or informative today, please like and subscribe below. And as always, thank you ever so much for watching. And in doing so, in this video, I will share with you 6 of my favourite hi-fi. I think it's too long to be used as a hi-fi. Now, Marquee Moon doesn't exist in high-res audio on Tidal, but as I explained in a recent video, I refuse to pay the extra €9 in Germany per month for access to Tidal's Hi-Fi Plus tier. We'll wait for the siren. Now, Marquee Moon does exist in high-res audio on Tidal, but so how is Tidal making this change? Well, essentially, it's collapsing its high-res streams. So how is Tidal... Now, the Callahan track is a heady brew of baritone vocal, woodwind, and so that means that anyone currently on the more expensive Hi-Fi Plus, and because I'm back in Germany, I thought it would, but I've not been listening to this. So Roon integrates Tidal so that its library of songs, Now, if you're wondering what Roon does, it does many things. But I want to just mention here that Roon integrates all of Tidal's library so that it can sit. But I haven't been playing this Tidal. Now, Roon integrates Tidal. But if you want an Apple Music, Spotify or Cobas version, you'll need to head on. So I'll put a link to my